it.
Hello out there, and thanks for joining us on Political Platform, and we are glad that you're there to pick up all the reports we have for you. We'll be talking about the PDP. Of course, many Nigerians are indeed happy that we can say something different coming from the PDP chairmanship zoned. We now know three front runners, Olabode George, Tunde Adeniran, and Jimmy Agbaje in the race, and we'll be telling you more of some of those things to be expected from the PDP in the coming months, the coming weeks and months. We'll also be zeroing into budget monitoring this morning. Of course, we have told you on this program that wherever the story is with regard to fighting corruption and those who are saddled with the responsibility, who have taken up the duty to help monitor budgets, we always accommodate them. And this time around, they are not just looking at the federal budget. They're also looking at the states. They are taking a look at what is happening in the states. And we have them in as guests. We'll be talking to the Acting General Secretary, Alliance for Credible Elections, Ace Maudi. And we have Nathaniel Mse Nwapila as coordinator, Ace Benue State. Of course, what are we going to be talking about when we are talking about the budget monitoring? We are talking about how citizens can be mobilized to be part of the budgeting process, the implementation. And when budgets are made, particularly the capital side of the budget, are we sure that all that is told citizens are carried out? And those responsible, do we hold them accountable? So this this gentleman and lady and gentleman, that is how it is said, are taking on the responsibility to mobilize Nigerians. And the now growing worse situation in the National Health Insurance Scheme, we are not able to give you all the details yesterday. But today we begin with our series on it, because we have the privilege to go around as given to us by the Constitution to hold the government accountable. So when things are going up like this, particularly when government officials are quarreling over corruption, it's opportunity for us to dig in and find out what is happening. So we'll be telling you partly the side of the man who is being chased away, talking about the SY Executive Secretary of NHIS. He said he's fighting corruption and that corruption is the one fighting back. Adebayo Bodun is with me on the program this morning. Adebayo Bodun, welcome to the program.
Yes, it was a night of talks at the PDP National Secretariat yesterday night. And the National Caucus ended its meeting. They've taken decisions, and those decisions are now going to be ratified today by two organs of the party, the Board of Trustees, and of course, the second highest organ of the party, the National Executive Committee. And what is it? What are they planning for? Election of new national leaders.
That's interesting. Adebayo Bodun. Mustafa Mohammed is here with us this morning as well. Mustafa, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Despite the say that's going on, I think the allegations against the HMOs for the last 12 years is very weighty. And the question I've been asking myself since this crisis started is whether the minister is aware of those allegations or is he ignoring it. But we want the Minister of Health also to speak out and tell Nigerians how did a few HMOs, milk Nigerians and Nigerian patients of billions of naira.
Let's go into the details soon as we come back from the mail box search. We have searched out some mails, your views, your opinion, your undiluted suggestions on how we can move the wheels of democracy forward and deepen the roots. Politicalplatform@yahoo.com. Let's see who is talking to us this morning.
Thank you, Hira. Welcome to the mail segment. I am Ife Nwanwobi.
And I'm Amaka Okoro. Welcome.
Let's start with a mail from Maruf at Jenifuja in Kubwa, Abuja. And it's a reaction to the platform's interview yesterday on the Almajiri system in Gombe State. It says, many Nigerians listened to your interview yesterday with the Executive Governor of Gombe State, Ibrahim Donkwambu, on the Almajiri system prevalent in the north, and his giant strides in that direction. The transformation and incorporation of the Almajiri system into the educational program of Gombe State is not only a welcome development, but also a strategic solution to the multiple social vices associated with the system. As a tree cannot make a forest, it will be wise and nice if other state governments can replicate this strategic framework of our Almajiri system in their various states. The multiplier effects of such replication are strong enough to reverse the trend and its social and its associated vices. God bless Nigeria.
And to in that line, Dixon Eka in Abuja says, I am one of the admirers of Governor Ibrahim Dokombo of Gombe State. He is a true technocrat who is achieving so much silently. When Ohiria promised to interview him on political platform, I was ready, set to listen, and he actually proved himself to be who I think he is. I urge this admirable governor, who is not a noisemaker and does not pay millions to be heard, to continue the good work he's doing in Gombe State, as greater things await him in future. I want to further challenge him to criminalize street begging and impose sanctions on parents who cannot ensure that their children are either in school or learning a trade. In doing this, he also has to make sure that education is totally free, at least up to secondary school level.
So in that line, Marcelina Eke in Abuja says, I want to sincerely commend Mustafa for calling a spade yesterday. I want the political platform crew to take a statistics of all the children or relations of this so-called northern elites to find out if they're also part of this Almajiri system that they are supporting, because these people can be seen as heartless. May God help us.
And Iwalami Momo from Abuja titles this one as APC's Unfulfilled Promises. The mail reads, I watched the political platform program on AIT yesterday with keen interest and observed Mustafa's apprehension on the unfulfilled promises made by the APC. I likewise watched Fani Kayode's interview on Kakaki yesterday morning, where he said Nigerians are suffering under the APC government. In my opinion, APC government couldn't fulfill those promises made in the face of the PDP's massive looting of our treasury, and Nigerians are suffering, as rightly said by Fani Kayode, because he was part of those who looted our treasury.
Lastly, on the mail segment, we have this coming from Hamidu Adam in Abuja, and he says, for some time on this platform, I have heard Amechi Anokwe giving wrong narrations and meaning to what President Muhammad Buhari said during the period late President Umaru Yar'Adua was sick. It is true that President Buhari urged the National Assembly then to impeach the late president. The basic reason, as we knew then, was that President Yar'Adua refused or was never allowed to hand over power to his vice as the Constitution demanded. Therefore, I see no reason why President Buhari's present condition should be compared to that of late President Yar'Adua's. After all, President Buhari did the needful constitutionally by handing over to Professor Oshibajo. Please, let the truth be told as it is and supposed to be. God bless Nigeria.
And this is where we draw the curtains on today's mail segment. Do keep sending your mails to us. Send them to politicalplatform@yahoo.com.
Busted. They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Thank you so much for staying with us on the platform and therefore always making the contribution through political platform at yahoo.com. We need also to remind you that if you are unable or you want to have a repeat experience on political platform, you can subscribe to and watch all our videos and the current edition at AIT Political Platform on our YouTube channel. And all around the world, you can get the information. And if you are on radio, you can also download our app. And the Ray Power app can take you straight to the live streaming of AIT of Ray Power, and you are able to get not just political platform, all our productions and all the music and the entertainment that we give. Now we have the AIT Abuja also running the program by 6 p.m. In the evening. So if you can, so tune in and you watch. And most importantly, we always enjoy receiving your mails through political platform at yahoo.com. Now, where do we begin from this morning? Let's start with the NHIS. Let's listen to Professor Usman of the NHIS, who is under suspension. But just before we give you his idea of what he meant in NHIS, just to tell you that the Minister of Health yesterday sent 8 other officials, senior management of NHIS, packing on suspension pending investigation. But let's listen to Professor Usman, what he meant and why he thinks that there was a lot of rot that ought to be fought against, and which is why the battle all is against him.
Healthcare financing in Nigeria that I met is nothing but a huge fraud. It is nothing but subsidy to HMOs. Worse than fuel subsidy. Why is it worse? Fuel subsidy, they cash their checks and leave town. HMOs cash their checks and people suffer and die. How many Nigerians have they covered? What they have done over the years, ladies and gentlemen, is increase the number of NHIS enrollees. They say they have. Excuse me using this word in this house, pardon. They have been pardoned with complicity of NHIS. I come from the land of HMOs, the United States of America. That's why you guys went and copied this. But you went and copied and pasted. If you do not know how to paste, do not copy. I am the first executive secretary to go around this country and say, we as the regulators, we've been sleeping on duty for the last 12 years. If we were doing the right thing, we wouldn't be in the mess we are here today.
Well, when you listen to a man in the saddle speak the way he's speaking, you expect perfection from him. You expect that he will take the strong broom and sweep all the corners. You expect that Nigerians will stand by him, and we will stand tall to have a regulator, the kind of health provision and services that will be available. But the accusation is that the man himself, who is pointing accusing fingers at everybody, including the NHIS itself, found himself wanting, buying vehicles that are questionable, and spending the money in the manner that the Minister of Health says the government is embarrassed. And so they are sending him packing. So the wind is blowing around. How soon can we get to the end of it, Adebayo Boduri?
I think the panel currently proving NHIS must be given free hand. It should be independent. It must not be controlled by anybody or group of persons. And there should be fairness. They should listen to all, and then they should not. The report must not be written, hide somewhere and gathering dust in one section of an office. We Nigerians are patiently waiting to see the outcome of this probe.
Ijoma, welcome to the program. Now we have a situation where we are having a repeat of what we saw in the customs. People who believe in the President Muhammadu Buhari as a person and don't believe in the government or institutions. Somebody says, I'm Minister of Health, I find something wrong, please go away while we probe. He says, no, I will not leave the office because you are not the one that appointed me. I will only leave the office if Buhari asked me to go. Impunity, some persons have said. But this is a man who is standing on the ground that he is being hounded and haunted because he is saying that everybody in the health sector are having their hands deep inside this corruption. I don't know where the balance will come from.
Okay, Ria, if you ask me that question, I will simply tell you that according to the man, corruption is fighting back. But you should also remember that he's not just a minister for Buhari, he's a minister in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is
the executive secretary, yeah.
The executive secretary. So if they said he should step down, then let him just excuse himself. The problem we have with our public servants is that they do not have integrity. If you go to other climes, when you have a mark,
yeah, even on their own,
you will just say, okay, let me relax until you finish whatever you're doing about my case. But in Nigeria here, there's this feeling that Buhari has come, he chose me, he put me here, I cannot leave. But you have forgotten that Buhari is just one man, even if he's the president. Buhari still obeys the voice of Nigerians that he, as the president of the country, governs.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. You know, the National Assembly seems to think otherwise. They believe that the executive secretary has a lot, you know, to a lot of information to give out in their own investigation of what happened at NIS, and they're actually battling the minister to recall him so that he can come and testify. Apparently, there's more to this than meets the eye. A lot of skeletons. So even if the minister is pointing accusing fingers, there are also fingers pointing at him at this point in time. And the National Assembly believes that the minister wants to scuttle the investigation, and that's why he quickly suspended the executive secretary.
Mustafa.
I believe if the executive secretary at the head of that institution should be asked to go, the minister too should go. You cannot be the person making the allegation and then want to be a judge. You have already declared that man guilty even before.
But the minister has a job to do. To superintend, he has a job to do.
So also the executive secretary, if you listen to the statement we just played to our audience, is that as the HMOs cash their checks, a lot of Nigerians are dying. This is actually a very serious allegation. We also know that we have people for when they have catarrh or headache, they fly to Dubai, America, and Germany or London to go and treat themselves. Then those ones that are on the insurance list, forget about dividing and increase of the number, do not even get the kind of treatment they are supposed to get. The HMOs don't even pay the doctors. I've also listened to other interviews granted by this man. So is somebody trying to hide some of the, excuse me for saying this, for some of the mess in the system? For God's sake, this thing is happening under your ministry. Are some people sharing the money? There are so many questions that we need to answer. So I support the National Assembly. Even if government is going to remove this man, let him come back and answer questions first.
At least tell us what he knows about
what I think we are going to be digging into it. We'll be talking to, as the National Assembly, as the minister is also probing and taking a look at everything. It will also be taking a look, following up, and reporting to you what we have found. Now, let's quickly do this business of budget monitoring. And my guests are right here in the studio, and they will be helping us to look at the way forward. A lot of job is being done by NGOs, and we have encouraged NGOs in Nigeria to indeed champion the cause of mobilizing citizens such that they know their rights and they are able to ask questions. Apart from the media that is empowered to hold the government accountable, citizens are also empowered, and so we are commending the NGOs, and we have in the studio here a lady and a gentleman, Nathaniel Msem Awapila. I hope I got that correctly. Yeah, coordinator ACE Benue State. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. And we have our own, one of our own. She's been with us for a very, 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 very long time. She's, when you talk of monitoring elections and monitoring everything that is going all over the place, including this budget and governance generally, Mma Odi is one you can really say she's there for everybody. Thank you so much, Madam, for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, let's take a look at your findings. Madam, let's begin from you. You may want to draw closer to the microphone. Now, what have you found? What are the challenges we have?
Okay, we have discovered we are using year 2015 as our working tool, because when we started November year 2016, most of the capital project funds have not been released, and also the projects are not in the field. So we are using
the 2015 budget,
federal budget as our working tool, and we are in 6 states of the Federation: Benue, Cross River, Ekiti, Gombe, Imo, and Jigawa State. And we found that now, though we are carrying out analysis of this, we identify 168 capital projects in these states that are on ground, whether the project has started or not, but we have seen the location. We have also seen so many projects that started and were abandoned. We have also seen equipment brought in, were not executed. We have also seen projects completed but not in use. But we have seen few that were completed and they are in use.
Now, what's let's look at the ratio to completion following the places you have seen, the one you have trailed. What is the ratio of execution?
Okay, we will not be able to say this because we have budget working on it, because there are so many projects that were not identified. So we want them to finish the work. Those ones you see in the budget, youth empowerment, Niger Delta, that you cannot see any identified in the location. So we want them to group this
How do you train youth empowerment?
They just put Niger Delta, youth empowerment, Niger Delta, and then you know that there are 7 states under Niger Delta. You don't know whether it's Imo Niger Delta or or Cross River or Delta Niger Delta. You don't know where to start. We want to group those ones first, that they do not have any physical address, and we go to talk about our own.
Let me ask Nathaniel this question. When
but
there's
something I want to say first, because before you ask, we want to say that this project is anchored on building a movement of Nigerians and also empowering them with skills to engage our political leaders, because we have found out over the years that the fight against corruption cannot be left in the hands of government, because they are fighting themselves. Who actually
when they cooperate, nobody hears
it. Where they are fighting themselves, and you cannot get it. And when they take all this money, they go back to us and give us peanuts, and the people are worshiping them as our creator. Now we are telling the people, these are your project. They took the money, and the people are asking questions. And asking questions, we are raising consciousness, and it will lead us to now stop them. And in Imo State, you won't believe it, that they have forced 3 former deputy speaker to move contractors back to the field. We are getting results, and when all Nigerians start asking these questions, this corruption will drastically reduce, and all these social infrastructures that have become a nightmare, we will have them.
Yeah, Nathaniel, let me ask you this question. When you say the citizens should own the
project,
the fight against corruption, what do you mean?
First of all, it means that they should know they are citizens, they have a responsibility to their society, to their families. And it means they should be able to hold political office holders and those in administrative positions responsible. So if a budget is passed, monies are approved, funds are released, they should be able to ask questions about who got the money. Was it spent as it should? Are the results being achieved? And just last week, I noticed
this is a huge task for people who are not ordinarily equipped to do this. You admit that even you who are professionals, who are lettered, who have a zeal, who probably will even get self-encouragement or somebody encourage you to do this, it's difficult for you to get to the roots of, let alone the citizens. How do we get the citizens to own this fight?
I once read a book, Small is Beautiful. The task may be huge. The challenge may be daunting, but we need to start from somewhere. So like Umma has said, start with getting the people to know that there is such a thing as federal capital allocations, and there are projects in your community.
Yes.
Let them know that these monies are not coming from their legislators, because in the community
that they're actually the owners of the money.
That they are the owners of these projects. Because you go to the communities, they are telling you that, oh, our son, our daughter is doing this for us.
Yes.
And when you go to some of the project sites, you don't even see any signpost, any board that tells you these monies are coming from the federal government. So the people believe it's our son, it's our daughter that is doing it. They need to know.
Oh, let me cut you short. Are you saying that the people in government are deceiving the people in all those states as if they are the one donating those projects?
You hit the nail on the head. It's a game of deception, and it's organized. Because in all the communities we visited, it's probably only 2. And in Benue State alone, 38 capital projects were identified.
49.
It went up to 49 by last week. Now, out of these, only in 2 communities did you have citizens saying, yes, we know this is from
the government.
Yes, from the government.
All the others think that it's either the governor himself or
Yes.
the legislators that
Yes.
are taking these projects.
And you go
them.
to a number of them where, like Imma said, the equipment are brought, not put to use. And in some of the locations,
sites are cleared and nothing
happens.
Yeah.
in some communities, we actually have people dying because particular projects are not implemented. Now, since 2015, for example, a bridge is built. This is pathetic. This one I always want to talk about. Because every year, a life or two is lost. And yet, monies have been released and nothing is done. And that legislator has the comfort to sit over the information about the money and deceive the community members.
Now, let me drum it out of the capital project. Are you doing anything in the recurrent? Because if you look at the budget profile, over 70% of the money is recurrent, because that one is actually more difficult and technical. They tell you, we organize a conference, and you don't have anywhere to prove that the conference has been organized. We trained some persons. You don't have, are you zeroing into that, or you are overwhelmed with the work you are already doing? Maybe in future you gather the energy to go to the recurrent.
Not exactly overwhelmed, but you have to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
It is easier to trace and track, monitor and raise awareness about a capital project, even if it is sensitization, you know, than the recurrent. Yeah. Because like you said, it's fluid. If it's recurrent, where do you start? And with the kind of bureaucracy and the lack of information about government processes.
Most of them don't have any site. It's
That's
just whether hotel rooms or conferences.
So, what do we intend to
do what's the way forward?
So far, we have mobilized stakeholders, 899 in 6 states. We have trained 1,157 stakeholders in 6 states. And we have identified 168 capital projects. After the analysis, we are going back to the ministries. These are the projects you claim to have executed. What is happening? And we are going back to National Assembly. Please, if you have done your oversight functions
very well,
we won't have these things we have in the field. And we're also coming back to Nigerians to continue the campaign that this corruption, using budget to steal our money, calling it constituency projects, must stop. And we are saying together, we will end corruption in Nigeria. That is where we are going. And we won't stop till corruption is completely, totally eradicated. So that the government that is elected or appointed, whatever, how they came in or rigged themselves in, they should give us security and welfare, which is the only reason they are there, because all of us cannot be there.
Okay, Odi, Acting General Secretary, Alliance for Credible Elections, and then Nathaniel Sen Awapila, Coordinator East Benue State. Thank you so much for joining us, and we just do hope that this is the beginning of some efforts that we can also assist you once in a while to propagate, because we need to also, you actually assisted the media to do their job, while we are really also trying to give you the opportunity to be heard by those who are working. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a great pleasure. Thank you.
And that's how we're wrapping it up on the program Political Platform. I will return in the next 24 hours, and when we do, we'll hear from you through politicalplatform@yahoo.com, your views on what you have heard here and what is happening around. Your Agbon Suremi here. Do have a wonderful time.
Bust it.